to show you how to use the Webbair screen. On the side here, you've got height limiter and slew limiter. You can turn on and turn off set limits, and then hit the start button. A safety screen will appear. If you do not select this safety screen, you won't be able to move your machine. On the Webbair key here, it's got limit and set. You'll need to use this key to be able to activate the limits. In the set position, you can activate, turn on, turn off limits. Once it's been put into the limit mode and key taken out, that locks the limits into the screen and are unable to be changed. When the key switch is set to set, you'll see a supervisor emblem show up and also a banner along the bottom letting you know that you're in supervisor's mode. Any button on the screen will bring you to top menu. When the key is in set position, you will get your limits icon up in this corner. If you turn the key to limit, the limits icon disappears and you're unable to get into the menu. The key is removable in both positions. So if any supervisor wants to lock the limits into the machine, they can. Entering the limits menu. Once you're in the limits menu, we have five limits. We've got height, maximum radius, depth, slew, and minimum radius, and door back. To enter a height limit, click on the top left. In this page, you have turn on, turn off height limit. Set height limit by a number and then a set here button. We're gonna use the set here button. Press set here. It'll tell you a height that you're currently set at. Hit the tick. It'll ask you, are you sure? Hit the tick again. The height limit will be activated. The alarm will go off. Lower your boom down out of the limit and your height limit is set. To set a height by typing it in, press the middle button, manipulate the numbers up and down using the arrows and the cross arrows. Hit the tick to accept. It'll ask you, are you sure? Hit the tick again to accept. That will set the height limit. To check your height limit, move machine up. Machine will stop, alarms will come on when height is hit, and lower back into operational mode. Okay, once you've got a height limit set and you want to be able to turn it off, top left button, press that. It'll ask you, are you sure? Hit the tick, and that turns off the height limit. Next button is maximum radius. So to set a maximum radius, you've got three options. You've got turn on, turn off previous. You've got type in maximum radius, and then you've got a set here button. Move your machine to your desired distance. Press the set here button. It'll tell you what your radius is set to. Hit the tick. Are you sure will come up. Hit the tick again, and that will set your max radius where it is positioned. The next button on the maximum radius is type in a radius. You've got to keep in mind the radius is set from the middle of the machine. Use the arrows up and down to set a radius. Hit the tick. It will come up, are you sure? Hit the tick, and your max radius will be set. Once you've hit the radius, the limits will come on. To turn off a maximum radius, top left hand button, push it once, it'll say, are you sure? Hit the tick, give it a second, the limit will turn off and you're back to free moving machine. We're going to set a max radius, so we're going to extend our machine out to where we want our max radius to stop. Press the set here button, it will tell us our max radius. Press the tick, it will say, are you sure? Hit the tick again. We're at our max radius, so if we come in now, so you'll be able to move inwards, upwards, Move outwards until you hit your limit. Machine will stop. It will not let you go down. It will let you go back up because you're moving away from the limit. And then you can bring your arm in and you can work freely within the limit. If you try and exceed the limit, it will stop the machine. So set here button, take your machine to any depth that you would like. Press the set here, it will tell you what depth you're at. Hit the tick, it will say, are you sure? Hit the tick, and that's your depth set in. Set the depth limit by typing it in. Use your arrows up and down and across to manipulate the numbers. Press the tick with the desired number. It'll ask you, are you sure? Press the tick. That will set your depth limit into the desired number. You can move up freely, in, out. And then if you try and exceed the limit on the down, it will lock you up. You can still move your arm out. If you try and move your arm back in to go below the limit, it will lock you up. To turn the limit off, top left button, press that. It'll ask you, are you sure? Hit the tick, give it a second, and the limit will turn off and you're back to a free moving machine. So next is minimum radius. Set on the minimum radius, you've got turn on, turn off minimum radius. Type in a minimum radius and a set here button. To do a set here button, move your machine to a desired place. Press the set here button. It'll tell you where your minimum radius is set to. Hit the tick. It'll ask you, are you sure? Hit the tick and your limit is active. To type in a minimum radius, use your arrows up and down and across to manipulate the numbers. Hit the tick on the desired number. It'll ask you, are you sure? Hit the tick and your limit will be set. So now we're at the limit there, so you'll be able to go out, work anywhere away from the limit as per normal. Second you go to breach the limit, the machine will stop, allowing you to not go through the limits. To turn off a minimum radius, top left button, it'll ask you, are you sure? Hit the tick and the limit will turn off. Okay, so to set a slew limit, top right hand button. On the top right hand side you have multiple different slew types. So at the moment this is a point to point slew. Press the button, it's a recurring button. Then you get a virtual wall. Then you can get a corridor. And then you can set a numerous amounts of points around the machine. And that's just a recurring button back to that. So to set a slew limit, bottom left corner, hit that. It will prompt you on what to do next. So it says extend the maximum reach and then press any button. So we've extended to the maximum reach of what we can slew at. Press any button. I'll set my left limit where I am right now. And then I will rotate the machine to the right and press any button. Then it's asking you to move back in between the 2 points. And hit any button. And the screen will build a hashed out area where your machine is not allowed to go. And then it will not let you go outside the wedge that you have just created. So that's left lockout. That's right lockout. You can move anywhere in between, up, down, in, out, until you reach your limit. It's set now, so I'm just going to hit it with bit of pace. So that machine stops inside the limit. Hit it with a bit more speed. Stops, bang on. Turn a slew limit that is active off. Go into your slew limits menu and hit the top left button. It'll ask you, are you sure? Hit the tick and the limit will be turned off. To set a virtual wall, we have pushed the recurring button, so we get a single line here. We will hit the tick. What we want to do is move to our first position of the wall. So I'll extend to our first position, press any button, and then I will move to a second position. Hitting any button, come away from your limit, hit any button, and that will set a wall. It doesn't have to be next to you, it can be in front, it can be inside, it can be on an angle. It all depends on where you set your points. Once you've set any limit on this system, if you want it in a bigger picture, door back, door back, door back, it'll bring you up into the main screen where you can see all your numbers a lot bigger. If you would like to lock the limit in so no one can change it, you will flick the supervisor key switch to limit, and that will lock, and you'll see that by the supervisor mode will be deactivated. Once you've locked the limit in, if you press any button and try and go back into the limits menu, you will not be able to. When you're operating with a limit on, for example, we have a height limit set at the moment. If you are approaching a height limit, you will get a close to max limit, depending what it is. Once you go beyond that, you will get a max limit of, depending which limit it is, you'll get a max limit reached and the machine will lock out. And on the screen here, you'll see the arrows have turned red. The red arrows are the positions you cannot go in. The green arrows are the directions you can go in. So coming out of a limit, for example, I'll lower the height. It'll go back to close to max radius. Once you drop out of it by about 200 mil, it will unlock all your hydraulics and you'll be able to move your machine freely again. Just to explain what's on the home screen, we've got a picture of the excavator and arrows of the directions that the excavator can move. In the green circle here, we have a slew count. So the picture is equivalent to the machine. So if you slew around, the picture will show you exactly what position you are against your track frame, and the numbers up in the top will give you an angle. 0 is over the front of the machine and it will count all the way to 360.